All right, my lovely friends, it is time yet again for my post-market wrap-up on this Tuesday, July 16, 2019. You know what we have to do. We have to talk. So let's start off with the basics. I have a lot of things I want to cover here. So stocks did finish down across the board today. I mean fractionally, despite really bad news on all fronts, and I want to talk about that too. So yes, stocks were all over the place. A nice trading day, I'll be honest with you. We need volatility in this market, and we got it because of some news regarding China trade, manufacturing, all kinds of interesting things. But the real story does not lie in what stocks did. I want to show this to you so you can get a handle on it yourself. This is the bond market, CNBC app. Look at all, see all the, except for that 1 month with the red. Look at all the green, green. Okay, that's because bonds are selling off. When bonds sell off, yields rise. It's a kind of a weird concept to get your head around, and the dollar did gain some strength. Speaking of that, silver at one point today was up rather nicely, although gold did finish down fractionally. Cryptocurrencies is getting hammered on all this talk lately. I mean, it's getting louder. I can't help myself in this kind of environment when I hear so many negative things and bears regarding cryptocurrencies or any asset for that matter. It makes me bullish. It really just does. That's the way my brain works. I'm sorry for the most part, except for this market. And this market, despite what we found out today, and we're going to cover that in a second, will move higher. And why? Again, I showed you the debt market. The bond market is selling off. People are buying dollars, literally. And they're hiding. Cash is now hiding in the dollar, just waiting for places to go. And that's just the way it always works. But let me cover some of this with you here in a kind of a blow-by-blow thing. Again, so we covered this already. Silver was catching a bid earlier. It was very nice. Cryptocurrencies getting hammered. Okay, very nice. And then we started hearing a few stories were getting floated out there about how the China trade talks were not going very well, despite what we've been hearing for a year and a half. And finally, and look, I know it took a long time, and I'm being serious here. You have to give credit where credit's due. It's about damn time, honestly. But our president today, this is a quote from the president: "We have a long way to go with China on trade." I mean, I really do wish that the president would have leveled with the American people way back a year and a half ago, longer, talking about how easy it was to win trade deals. Oh, don't worry about it. It's this. It's simple. We're going to prosper. We're taking in all this money. It's a lie. But finally, an admission from the president himself. We have a long way to go. And stocks didn't like to hear that. This did push stocks to the low of the day at one point. I was short the market. I made some good money there. I bought the rebound. I had 2 trades today. So again, let's give credit where credit's due. I know how insane this sounds, but finally an admission from the president that this trade deal is not going well. We have a long way to go. And you know, whatever, man. It's just is what it is. Now, I want to talk about this, because I find this still very disturbing, and I'm sure you will too. Last August, the president came out maybe a little over-enthusiastically, and I understand that's his job. He has to blow sunshine at the crack of everyone. But he was talking about 5% GDP moving forward. Well, we found out today we're tracking at about 1.8% GDP. I mean, this is a monumental miss. But again, the president, he can't tell you the truth. The narrative must be maintained that we are in an economic boom. This will continue to force cash into the stock market. The interest rate suppression, cash being printed out of thin air, I want to talk about that in a second too, opens that doorway for cash to move into the market. The narrative has to continue, and the president must lie. I know how crazy this sounds. I wish he would level with all of us and say, listen, our economy is in trouble. We just got abysmal news on the economic front. Manufacturing falling off a cliff, continuing to do so with no end in sight. Industrial production off of a cliff, no end in sight. We are in free fall, but you can't know that. The narrative must be maintained. It's pathetic. It really is. Let's move forward here a little bit. So again, a 5% prediction a year ago, just about a year ago. We're at 1.8. We're barely scraping by here. It's awful in my opinion. We're finding out here that 2019 is going to be a record for store closures in our country here. But again, the narrative must be maintained. We're doing great. So ignore all the store closures because you're not supposed to know about that. It's disgusting. How about this for disgusting? Okay, you might want to sit down for this one because it's really just to the point where I literally want to blow my stack off. I'm going to try not to do that here. Jamie Dimon, the man needs no introduction, CEO of JP Morgan, says, now again, consider the source. He's the CEO of JP Morgan Chase. Okay. Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan, says the U.S. consumer is strong because they continue to borrow. Now keep in mind that nothing on this planet, I'm reading this, makes a CEO of a major bank happier than more debt slaves. Yeah, that's what he wants you to be, a debt slave. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. If you try to, it's impossible to do. Now, let's move on to this. This makes me want to choke someone, sincerely. So, live on CNBC, Fed President Charles Evans, he admitted this, okay? So sit down and look it up for yourself if you don't believe it. This is here. Fed President Evans admits that a weaker dollar is coming. Well, let's see. I've been saying that for the longest time. Yeah. Although, again, the stock market, this is very stock market positive and it's good for corporate America. The weaker dollar, how does that help you? How does a weaker dollar help you? In fact, he went on to say that a 2% inflation ceiling? Oh, no. There's no ceiling. So they're just going to create inflation and make your life a living hell. Now, I think, I'm going to beat up the president a minute here. The president left that out of his narrative since he became president. So, Mr. President, what I think all of us here, all of us, the thousands that are going to watch this video, maybe a couple of tens of thousands, what we would like to know is, how does negative real rates here in the United States and a weaker dollar help the middle class? You've been leaving that out since you became president, but I think all of us here, at least those of us with a few functioning brain cells, not the brain dead, who believes this is a grand plan for some other idiotic, very nice thing to happen. See, I was just going to say something that would have got me in a lot of trouble. Seriously. But Mr. President, explain to the American people how negative real rates and a weaker dollar is going to help the middle class. We all understand it's very stock market positive, both of these things. Very positive for corporate America, and it puts a lot of cash in their pockets. But again, are we literally stealing that wealth from the middle class, Mr. President, to hand it over to corporate America? Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. But why won't you explain that to people? I think it's time, Mr. President, that you get on the level here. It's time to get on the level with the American people. How many of you would agree? Put your hand up. Okay, thank you. If you think that's true, go to @RealDonaldTrump and let him know that you're not that stupid. It's really the truth. I want to do one thing before I leave here today, and this is on a good note. I want to give a shout out to this place in Las Vegas called The Space. I don't know how many of you have been here. Every Monday night, they run a charity event. They call it Mondays Dark. And let me tell you, this was absolutely fantastic. If you have a chance to attend this, Mondays Dark at The Space here in Las Vegas, it's a worthwhile cause. Every time they run one of these events, they donate $10,000 to a charity. I don't know about you, but I am very happy to participate in something like this. It was a blast. Had a great time. So I'm going to give a shout out to the space here in Las Vegas. Check it out. You will not be disappointed. I will be going there soon again, and I'll announce it. So if any of you are here, we can all meet up and have a drink together. So with that said, I hope I covered some important things here for you. And let's just summarize. Stocks did finish a little lower across the board, but you witnessed the issue with the bond market. You got bonds selling off, cash going into the dollar, looking for somewhere to go. I believe it's going to make its way back into the stock market. We have an economy in absolute free fall. We have a promise from the Federal Reserve to weaken the dollar. There's no ceiling here with regard to inflation, so they're going to make your life very hard. Again, don't forget to ask the president how this helps you. You need to know how this helps you, not people like Jamie Dimon, who came out and said, oh, the consumer's strong because they continue to borrow. Yeah, that makes him really happy, and it makes all of these bank CEOs very happy. So if you want to make Jamie Dimon even more happy, don't say a damn thing. Don't open your mouth. Don't write to the president and have him explain to you how this helps you and not Jamie Dimon. Because there's a lot of brain-dead people out here who think that that's actually the case. I don't think so here. I think people that follow this blog are smart enough to get it, and you understand where we are. But again, there are some seriously screwed up people out here. What? No, I mean, you can't make this stuff up if you even tried. None of it. I think this video has been important. I think I covered a lot of important things with regard to GDP projections, which are completely false. Our president knows they're false, but he must lie to you. Do you like to be lied to? Let me ask you. Do you think, is there any justification for the lies here? I don't think so. I think people deserve the truth, but again, they must be kept dumbed down, period. The more stupid they become, the better off, again, corporate America will be. And as the Fed is now saying, a weaker dollar is coming. But you knew that already because I explained that to you. There's no ceiling on inflation. Fed Evans, the thing out there, he's another yellow stain. They're all freaking yellow stains, okay? And I'm just about fed up, as you can see. So what that means is I'm going to end this video here before I go off the deep end. So please watch this video again. Let it sink in. Share it. Get it out there. Really make a difference. And check out this space here in Las Vegas. It'll be worth your time. And it's a worthwhile causes that they support. This guy does love you. You see I'm calming down. See you in the morning.